What happens when the world's greatest heroes face their ultimate end? What happens when the smartest kid in the Marvel Universe is the last hope for reality itself? What happens when a child with the power of a god decides to fix everything by breaking it all? This is a story of how the Fantastic Four died and how they lived again. Today we're diving into the cosmic horror story that proves why Valeria might be the most dangerous Richards of all. Alright, let's get into it. Victor Von Doom has done the impossible. He's not just a master of technology anymore. He's become the Sorcerer Supreme. With mystical power flowing through his armored hands, Doom declares the entire world his new Latveria. When the Fantastic Four confront him, thinking they can stop him like they always have, Doom shows them just how wrong they are. Ben Grimm watches in horror as his rocky orange skin falls away, leaving him human and vulnerable. Reed, Sue, Johnny, all of them losing their powers. But the team isn't going down without a fight. In desperation, they attempt to recreate the cosmic ray storm that gave them their abilities in the first place. It's their last chance to turn Ben back into the Thing. It's also the worst mistake they could have made. Ben absorbed the full force of the cosmic rays. All of them. The energy overload creates something catastrophic. A temporal shockwave that begins tearing apart the very fabric of reality itself. Now here's where things get really interesting. We're seeing all of this through the eyes of Valeria Richards, Reed and Sue's brilliant daughter. As reality collapses around them, Sue Storm does what she does best. She protects her family with force fields, creating protective bubbles around each of them. But even Sue Storm's incredible power can't hold back the end of everything. Valeria watches helplessly as Franklin, Joe, and Nikki vanish one by one, their force fields shattering like glass. When her own shield fails, she feels herself dissolving, because in this rewritten timeline, she was never even born. But something miraculous happens. As her force field collapses, there's an interaction between her mother's energy and the temporal chaos. Her body dies, but her consciousness, her mind, her memories, her brilliant intellect survives, transplanting into another body in this altered world. Valeria wakes up in a universe that shouldn't exist. It's a world where the Fantastic Four never happened. Reed Richards is just a normal scientist. Sue Storm is just a regular mom. They're married. They have children, but not Valeria. Not the children we know. Different kids entirely. Named Franklin and Mary after their grandparents. And Valeria, she's trapped in Mary's body, her alternate universe sister. Think about that for a moment. You wake up in a world where your parents don't know you, where your entire family's greatest legacy never existed. What do you do? Well, if you're Valeria Richards, you do what any good scientist would do. You gather intel. She discovers that Ben and Alicia are married but childless, living in a quiet life upstate. Her parents are ordinary people, living ordinary lives. So she does the only thing she can do. She goes to them for help. When she knocks on their door and tells them the impossible truth, that she's their daughter from another timeline where they had powers. Their response chills her to the bone. That's nice, Valeria. Franklin will deal with it. No questions, no demands for proof. No curiosity about her extraordinary claim. Just, Franklin will deal with it. But here's the thing that makes Valeria's blood run cold. Franklin isn't there. When she points this out, her parents, who aren't really her parents, look at each other with a fear that cuts through her like ice. Please don't joke about that, Reed whispers, and Sue's voice trembles as she echoes the warning. The door slams shut, leaving Valeria alone with questions that suddenly seem much darker than before. So Valeria does what she does best. She examines the data, and finally, she figures out what's been bothering her since she arrived in this world. The Fantastic Four saved the world countless times. They were the first, the best, the ones who did the impossible when no one else could. The world needs the Fantastic Four. So how does an Earth without them even exist? How did it all survive? The answer is simple and terrifying. Someone else made it happen. Someone else rebuilt it all. That's when she looks up and sees him, Galactus, but not the Galactus we know. This is Franklin Richards, her brother, who won every fight and saved every day, but did it all too young, too soon. He's become the devourer of worlds, and he greets her like it's just another Tuesday. "Hello, Mary. Why are you upsetting our parents?" he says. Through an encounter with Jean Grey, who's barely keeping their minds shielded from Franklin's awareness, Valeria learns the horrible truth of this world. When the timeline collapsed, Franklin's consciousness jumped too, just like hers did. But while she ended up in Mary's fully formed body, Franklin's mind went into an embryo, a developing brain that couldn't handle his memories or identity, but somehow absorbed all of his reality warping powers. So a new Franklin was born, a child with the powers of a god, raised by loving but powerless parents who had no idea how to guide someone with that kind of ability. Without the Fantastic Four to teach him responsibility, Franklin grew up believing he had to fix everything. And at first, he did. But he was just a kid trying to solve global problems before he could understand human ones. When people upset him or made mistakes, he began correcting them, making them good, making them happy, erasing what made them who they were and replacing it with whatever he thought they should be. Heroes, villains, friends, it didn't matter. If they got in his way, Franklin would lobotomize their souls. He never lost a fight because he never let anyone fight back. He never heard the word no because he erased anyone who might say it. He's still just a child, but a child with absolute power, and that was always going to be a disaster. Hidden in one of the few places Franklin can't see, Valeria teams up with Jean Grey and Namor, some of the last free minds on Earth, to attempt the impossible. They can't go back in time. Franklin blocked that. They can't fight him. He's too powerful. But Valeria realizes something crucial. Franklin still thinks like a kid. He'd think to block time travel, but not time communication. What if they could send information back instead of people? Valeria builds a machine to create a microscopic temporal wormhole, and Jean could use her telepathic powers to transfer Valeria's consciousness back to her past self in the moments before the cosmic ray disaster. It's insane. It should be impossible, but they're out of options. When they activate the machine, Franklin finds them instantly. The Devourer of Souls appears, reality bending around his cosmic form. You're trying to cheat me," he says. Namor falls first. Jean follows. Valeria feels her mind unraveling as Franklin erases her piece by piece. But as she's dying, she reveals the truth. This was never about sending her full consciousness back. That would take too much data, be too slow. Instead, they buried the real plan deep, even from themselves. They only intended to send 4 words back in time. 4 simple words that would be enough to stop all of this. She had days to choose the right ones. As Franklin destroys what's left of her, Valeria steps forward and embraces her brother, this twisted version of someone she loves. "It's not your fault, Franklin. You deserve better. I'm sorry you never got it." Even as he protests that what she's doing is murder, Valeria holds firm. Yes, it's murder, but for as long as she has left, she can live with that. We cut back to the past. The Fantastic Four are in their spacecraft, about to begin the fateful journey that will give them their powers. Ben Grimm reaches for the button that will expose them to the cosmic radiation. Valeria's voice pierces the veil of time, desperate and commanding. "Ben, stop. Don't press that button." She's back herself again, returned from a future that will now never happen. She looks at her father with eyes that will have seen the end of everything and its beginning. "Dad, I think I just figured out how to fix everything. It's insane. It should be impossible, but it's not, and I need all of you to listen to me." 4 words. Just 4 words sent back through time. Don't press that button. Sometimes the smallest challenges create the biggest differences. Sometimes saving the world is as simple as knowing when not to take the first steps towards disaster. This is a story of how the Fantastic Four died in the future that will never be, and how they lived because the daughter loved her family enough to sacrifice everything, including herself, to give them another chance. Because that's what family does. That's what heroes do. They find a way, even when there shouldn't be one. And there you have it. Fantastic Four issue 32 isn't just another alternate timeline story. It's a haunting look at what happens when godlike power meets childhood trauma. Ryan North crafted a brilliant showcase for Valeria Richards, proving that sometimes the greatest superpower isn't cosmic energy or invisibility, it's pure intelligence. The way this issue blends Days of Future Past elements with cosmic horror gives us one of the most unique Fantastic Four stories in recent memory, while potentially setting up Franklin's return to power. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments, what do you think is the scariest part of this story? Franklin as a twisted god figure, or the fact that in this reality, Reed and Sue are just normal parents? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.